my everything, Miss Audrey Foster. Come on.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to see you all. I am so glad to see you all because, like you said, this has been absolutely life-changing for me. We aren't going to get into a whole lot of testimonials, but I do want to tell you that my knees, as he said, I couldn't get up and down the steps in my home because of the pain, or either they would go out when I was going up and down the stairs. I was falling apart, and literally I prayed. I was like, I need help. I'm 50-some years old. This should not be happening. And there were a million other things that were happening on top of that. Not being able to put on my pants without having to hold on to something because I had balance issues. There's been just so many different things. And I had said, you know, I'm just not a salesperson. I don't really want to do selling stuff or whatever. But when I found this product, I was like, it's criminal, almost criminal not to tell other people about it. And so that's what made me just say, absolutely yes, give me the biggest package you've got because I want to share this with the world. And we're small tonight, but despise not the start of small beginnings, right? Mm-hmm. So I am so excited to be here, and I'm glad you all are here. We have tonight with us, Leah. Staci is a regenerative health coach. Leah, raise your hand. Yeah. With Be Blessed Health and Wellness. Her goal is to help people live their healthiest, active lifestyle at whatever age. And she's here all the way from Houston, Texas. So really, we really thank her for being here this evening. We also have our keynote speaker this evening, and that is Dr. Staci Holweger. And she is a world-renowned speaker, author, and specialist in quantum integrative medicine. She is really smart. She's going to tell you that, like, she's not really all that smart. Yes, she is. She's got 2 PhDs. Who does that? Okay. She is a teacher, network marketer, public speaker, author, and doctor, having earned her PhD in quantum integrative medicine and functional medicine. And she's here all the way from Sarasota, Florida. So what I'd like you all to do is to stand up, and I want you to give a rounding applause for Dr. Staci.
Thank you so much for having us here. Thank you. You know, I wanted to share with you guys, you said our numbers are small, but a little over 2 years ago, I flew to Houston, Texas, when Miss Leah Staci there first got started. And she did the same thing. She did back-to-back events, and we had smaller groups and smaller numbers of people that came together in massage studios, in people's kitchens, in Starbucks, and little things like that. And it has grown where she has tens of thousands of people in her organization that have been impacted from this technology. So small beginnings are amazing. So thank you all for taking the time to be here tonight because it really matters. And I'm sure you're here because of yourself. You want to know what this can do for you. But you're probably also thinking, how can I help other people? Or what knowledge can I gain to be able to help other people in my own health journey, right? How many of you here have anything with your health you'd like to improve? Okay, so yeah, right? We all do. We all want to make sure we're living our best, our tip-top shape, and doing all the things we can to be here. Our days are numbered, unfortunately. We don't know what number those are, but no one's getting out of here alive. So we're all going to make sure that we're doing the best things we can possible. And so I want to talk to you tonight about X39, the stem cell activation technology. How many of you have never been patched? Is there anybody here that's never patched yet? Never patched? 1, 2, 3. Okay, fantastic. All right, so we're not going to put a patch on you tonight because it's too late. We want you to go to bed. So we patch in the morning when we brush our teeth. So I'm going to send you home with the patch tonight. So tomorrow morning, when you get up and brush your teeth, you can put your patch on. Okay? You can put it on the back of your neck, you can put it below your belly button, or you can put it up here in the center of your chest. This is where I usually have one. I think I took it off and put it on my foot a minute ago. My beautiful new heels that I just bought are fantastic, but not meant for 12-hour use. Patches are 12-hour use, heels not so much, right? We've done a lot of walking today. So for me, I like to put my patch right here because you can see it, right? That's where Nancy has hers, but you can put it anywhere you want. So I want to keep tonight's the information that I share with you very personal to you. I want to keep it interactive. I'm going to tell you how the patch works, what some frequently asked questions typically are, and of course tell you what people typically experience. But much like Audrey, everyone's experience is going to be different, right? Does anybody in here have the same issues with their knees? Couple of you, okay, but not all of us. So we're going to all have different experiences. So I want to make sure that we can be very interactive. Is that okay with you? If we do that, so I can get your questions answered with what your needs are. So for me personally, stem cells go back 22 years. I banked both of my kids' cord blood. I found out about banking cord blood and the power of the cord blood. One day when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was flipping through the Learning Channel. Do you guys remember that? Do they still have that? I don't know. But I was flipping through and I saw a Learning Channel. There was a program that they were actually curing African American children of sickle cell anemia with donor cord blood. I thought, wow, this is wild. Is this real? And I went on to watch it, and they talked about how they were using that cord blood for diabetes and heart disease and cancer and Alzheimer's and dementia, those 5 top big degenerative diseases. Now this is 22 years ago, and lo and behold, you know the way God works, later that week I get a postcard in the mail from a company wanting to send me information about banking my child's cord blood. Now the TV back then was not connected to your thoughts and your phone. You know how that happens today? Display marketing, right? You think something and then it pops up on your phone and you get wigged out. You're like, how's this happening? I just thought it, I didn't even say it. Right? That didn't happen back then. I think I had a flip phone and you couldn't even text on it. Right? That didn't even exist. And so for me, that was like a big sign, a big flag that stem cells were important. And over the years, through my journey with my daughter, we did a lot of different types of stem cell therapy. And so we were in and out of the country doing stem cell injections, we did hyperbaric chamber, we did all kinds of stem cell therapy. So it's been a very big part of my life, and I feel like God prepared me for that a long time ago, right? So for this patch, for me personally, I didn't have anything going on with me 2.5 years ago when I came across this patch. But my never-ending quest for my daughter and help her improve her quality of life. Come on up, girl, you're good. Come on up, come on up. That's what I was always searching for. You guys know each other. Come on up, come on up. Yeah, so for me, I've always been searching for anything and everything to help my daughter. Do you have that situation yourself where you're searching, you're always looking for something to help yourself or someone that you care about? Right, we'll do anything for people we love. And so when I found this patch, I wasn't actually looking for it, of course, it found me, but I instantly wanted the patch, immediately. The person that I saw this was a wellness center, and I immediately said, how much is it? I'll take it right now, I want it. Like, I didn't need to be sold on anything. I know what stem cells do. Is there anyone in here that knows what a stem cell is, what a stem cell does?
I'm taking them.
Yeah, okay, fantastic.
Well, not really, I just know that it's the basis of our health, really. And we're born with a whole bunch of them, and then they become inactive.
Yeah.
And this patch reactivates them.
You're right, exactly. That's exactly right. And so stem cells are what we call pluripotent. They can turn into anything. They're the basis of where we came from. And we have those those stem cells in our body as we age, but they become dormant, right? They become inactive. And so this patch wakes them up. But I'm going to talk to you about how that happens, that process. But a couple days after I found this patch, a good friend of mine, here comes that divine intervention again, comes in and calls me and says, hey, I want to talk to you. I found something that's going to help your daughter. And I'm like, great, send me a link, I'll order it. I'm busy, I don't have time to talk right now. Anybody too busy to answer the phone? Too busy to be here tonight, but you're here, right? You guys are here. And so I did get on the phone with her a couple days later, and I said, I think I just bought that. And sure enough, I had. And so I was immediately very interested with her, my friend, who I know and like and trust, right? I was like, okay, yes, she had been in a wheelchair, had gotten out of the wheelchair from her RA symptoms, and so it was working for her. I wanted it for my daughter, and she sent me a video with David Schmidt, who's the inventor of this tech, and she said, guess what? He's coming to your area in 4 days. I had a girl strip land, and I'm like, oh, but the video, when I watched the video of David, it sealed the deal. For me, for my husband, son, obviously for what I wanted to use for my daughter, and I went to listen to David speak. Now, we're not gonna have a 2-hour science and technology discussion tonight, okay? Promise you that. Like I said, I want this to be very interactive, and I want your questions answered. But the second part of that day, that presentation, was an hour worth of people's testimonials. They came running down the aisles. Now, I was the youngest person in the room. There were 250 people in that room. I was 47 at the time. They were all 65 plus to 85, 95 years old. And they were running. They were running to the front so excited to share about the types of issues, symptoms, diseases, syndromes that they had been dealing with physically, mentally, and emotionally that they no longer were dealing with. The patches were working in their life. And I looked at my friend Laura, I had taken a friend of mine, and I looked at her and she said, what are you gonna do? And I said, I'm gonna tell everybody about this, right? We were bawling our eyes out, covered in goosebumps. I said, I'm telling everybody, I've been preaching stem cells for 20 years. I'm telling everybody I know about this. And there were 2 ladies that came up at the very end, and they shared about 1 minute of why they decided to tell other people about this as a business opportunity, right? Income opportunity. We're not going to talk about income opportunity tonight, but I want you to know that those two ladies in their 60s and 70s that shared just 1 minute of why they chose to share this with other people on a much larger scale, my mind went, wait a minute. There's a way here that I can not just help all my friends and family, but I can also go help as many people as possible, tens of thousands of people, right? And here we are tonight. I didn't know Leah. 2.5 years ago. I knew Laura. And Laura knew Leah. And then Leah knew Crystal. You guys some of you met Crystal last night. And Crystal knew Carolyn. And Carolyn knew Kimberly. Kimberly knew Nancy, right? And that's how it grew. And now here we are 2.5 years later with over 25,000 people all over the globe that have been impacted because I listened to that inner voice, that God saying, hey, use this, buy this from her, go to that seminar, listen to this, share with other people. And so thousands and tens of thousands of people's lives have been impacted. For me, that's exciting. That's why I'm here, right? That's why I flew from Sarasota. Honestly, the reason why I flew from Sarasota, I was working out one morning, about 6 weeks ago, right, 8 weeks ago. And you know, I don't know about men, but women do this. When we're putting on our makeup or we're doing things like we're not really like, we're doing them, but we're not necessarily like consciously paying attention. And then you get those divine drop-ins. Do you guys get those? Do you guys get those? I don't know. Do men get those? My husband doesn't get those. Maybe he does. But sometimes, you know, sometimes. But I get those all the time. When God says, do this, go here, call her, text him, whatever, right? I need to do those things. And so that happened to me that morning in the gym. It said, God said, text Leah, go to Virginia, go up there, DC area. And I'm like, Leah, what do you got going on in September? I need to come there, get on the phone, call your people. And that's why I'm here. So I really feel like this was a divinely guided appointment for me to be here at this time. Even though I just flew in at noon yesterday, I'm flying out at 6 tomorrow morning. It's been exciting, the people that I've met so far, and listening to the stories, the testimonials of people, what they've experienced, and knowing that this is helping this area to grow, to foster, to help build that foundation, to help more people improve their quality of life. This is not a sales meeting. This is not a, you're gonna walk out of here buying something. This is we just wanna help you improve your quality of life. We have a simple, easy, effective, non-invasive, affordable way for you to help yourself and maybe even share with your loved ones that you do care about. Some of them you may not. The ones you do care about, you want to make sure they're around for a while, right? So this patch is very simple. How many know what a transdermal patch is? Does anyone know? Okay. Give me an example of a transdermal patch.
Nicotine.
Nicotine. What else?
Estrogen.
Estrogen patch.
B12.
B12.
Pain.
Pain patch. Right. So those are things that are putting a chemical, a substance, a nutrient into your body, right? Well, this one does not work that way. So erase that from your brain for a second, okay? This is non-transdermal. This is a wearable light technology. How many of you are made of light? Right? We're all trillions of cells of light. We're all emitting light or heat. I shared this yesterday. This was perfect. I went to Michigan 2 weeks ago. And I sat down on the airplane in my seat, and the lady sat next to me. I thought she was a furnace. Like, I'm going, oh my God, you are so hot. The heat coming off of that woman was insane. Have you ever experienced that? Right? And I know Laura, she's always talking about getting next, she's always cold and her husband's so hot and she curls up against him. Does your wife do that? Or yes, oh yes, because you're so hot, I'm cold, I want to curl up. Right? And so we can feel that heat being emitted off of the body. Or sometimes if you're freezing, your hands are freezing, your feet are freezing, and then your spouse is like, oh my God, you're like an icebox. They can feel that. So this works with that body heat or light that we are emitting. So when you put the patch on, nothing is entering your body. But you see that white part? That's what David Schmidt has invented. It's a crystal lattice structure, okay? So it's crystalline, it's reflective, and it actually reflects your body's light back into your body, but in a very specific wavelength, okay? So what he's invented in here is a solution of molecules, amino acids, oxygen, sugars, and waters. They form very specifically together in a reflective lattice. So I put this on, nothing enters my body, but my body's light hits it. That heat that we emit comes off our body, right? Like the lady in the seat, it was coming off her body in a big way. And so that heat comes off our body and hits this patch and is reflected back into the body in a very specific wavelength. It's proprietary. David invented it, so I can't tell you what that wavelength of light is. But there is a 20-year patent on the patch, so don't worry, the secret's safe for the next 20 years. Does that make sense? Okay, well what happens when that wavelength of light goes back into my body? It elevates a peptide. Anyone familiar with peptides? A couple of you? Peptides, they're chains of amino acids, proteins, building blocks of our body. They're all throughout your entire body. Lots of proteins, lots of amino acids, lots of peptides, right? We're not going to get into biology 101 here. But this patch elevates a specific peptide. GHKCU copper peptide. Anybody heard of that?
Yes. Yes, one of the things you learned for a fitness exam 30, 40 years ago, and then look at again.
Exactly, right? So GHK is huge in the workout world. It's huge in the fitness world. It's huge. You said esthetician, right? Estheticians know all about GHK, right?
I didn't know copper peptide. I didn't know about the other letters before.
Copper peptide. Copper peptide is very big in the skincare world. Very big for what it does for anti-aging. It's the holy grail of anti-aging. Okay? This peptide, this patch activates that peptide. It elevates it because that peptide declines as we age. So that elevation of that peptide does a lot of things in the body that are amazing. One of the things it does is it resets a third of your genes back to their young, youthful, healthy state. Anybody interested in that?
Yes.
Reset a third of those babies back to their young, youthful, healthy state. Perfect. Check. The second you put the patch on, that process starts. How do we know that? Well, we've done clinical studies. Double-blind, placebo-controlled, independent lab, peer-reviewed studies. Blood work. Pull it out and watch the elevation of GHK when you put the patch on. We monitor this immediately, days later, weeks later, months later. Okay, so we can see that elevation happening. One of the beautiful things about resetting a third of your genes, one of those genes is responsible for mobilizing your own stem cells, activating, elevating your own stem cells. This is not a stem cell patch. This is a stem cell activation patch. It activates your own stem cells. Remember, you were born with an abundance of them. You had a ton of them with your kid, but as you age, they become dormant, right? Half in your 30s, which is all of us in here, right? In our 30s. Yes, a few of you guys? Yeah, we're in our 30s. right? We're feeling it, right? That's why we're patching. But by the time of your 60s, you have less than 10% of your own stem cells active. The rest are there. The 90% are there. They're just dormant. If you're past your 60s, sorry. We're not moving. Gloria's like, oh my God. I'm going down like the Titanic.
Is it all over this mask?
Yeah, it's all over your mask, face. Absolutely. Her eyes are going, ah! So this patch elevates your GHK, activates your stem cells, mobilizes them, gets them doing what they did when they were younger, right? Wake up, let's go. Let's repair and regenerate the body in whatever order your body needs. You know, when you cut your finger or break your bone, it's not the Band-Aid or the cast that does the repairing, is it? It's the body. And so this activates your body's own repair and regeneration process. Just like when you were a kid. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's going to take time. This is not, I've had 30 years of chronic pain and inflammation and all these XYZ grocery list of diseases or issues, and in 30 days it's fixed. You better run if I say that. Okay? Repair and regeneration take time. Regenerative medicine says, I'm going to take old cells, old organs, old tissue, and I'm going to turn them young and youthful again. Without an injection, without stem cell injections, without invasive types of therapies. Right? Activating my body's own ability to do that. So it's going to take some time. Our general rule of thumb is 1 month for every decade you are old. So if you're in your 30s, right? You guys are in your 30s. Close. It's going to be 3 months. 1 month for every decade. 30s is 3 months, 40s is 4 months, 50s is 5 months, 60s is 6 months, 70s is 7 months, 80s is 8 months, 90s is 9 months, right? Or just stop patching whenever you want to start aging again. That's the general rule of thumb. The longer you wear the patch, the more things you cross off your grocery list, right? But what do we notice first? What are some common things that people notice? Pain reduction. Anybody in here had pain reduction from patching? Eric, you're a one patch wonder?
First day.
First day.
And I didn't believe it.
Didn't believe it, but day one you had pain reduction.
Well, one gave me one patch. This is a friend from, she actually introduced me to all of this. But I did one patch, my back pain went away, within 24 hours my hip pain went away. And the next day it came back.
Yeah, one patch. Elevation of GHK. GHK has great pain reduction properties. Sometimes it happens the first day. Based on clinical studies though, because we're about to talk about the studies, right? 80% of the people are going to notice that in the first 3 to 6 weeks. It's going to take about 3 to 6 weeks before you start to feel pain reduction. Sometimes it happens sooner than that. Anybody else have pain reduction pretty quickly? Within the first week or so? 3 weeks? First
3
week,
days.
Carolyn?
3 days.
Carolyn? Okay. How about better quality of sleep? Better quality? You have that too, man. Eric, you're our spokesman. Okay. So you're in the One Patch Wonder Club. Hey, welcome. So better quality of sleep is something else we notice. More physical energy. Anybody have more physical energy? Rosemary came running in here earlier. Yeah. Right? More mental energy, clarity, focus, concentration, faster wound healing. Anybody ever been injured while you were patching? Had a break? Had a cut? Had anything like that? You guys have seen the pictures, right? Of people that have had accidents or injuries or surgeries and how that's helped them to heal faster. Stem cells do that. So those are pretty common in the beginning. Okay, but then we also start to see changes in the digestive system, the nervous system, the immune system. But what's really impressive to me, it doesn't happen even in the first 30 days. It happens at 6 weeks. At 6 weeks, we can see in our studies that the cardiovascular system, your entire vascular system, is functioning 8 weeks younger.
It's big.
That is big.
It's big.
You have one heart. We know the number one killer in the world is heart disease. If we have something that we can use to activate our body's own ability to repair that heart in a non-invasive way, that has zero contraindications to any medications, any supplements, any herbs or nutrients or foods or anything, doesn't interact with anything, there's nothing in your body, and I can help my heart be healthy, that's powerful. And that compound effect of using that we see with people that have had heart arrhythmias, right? PVCs, Dr. John Harmon had a right branch bundle block. And that went away. Like, how does that go away in less than a year? How does that happen? That doesn't get to go away. I interviewed a man when I was in Michigan 2 weeks ago that had had a heart attack 3 years ago. 80-90% block in 2 of the arteries. They stented them. One was at 70%. They're like, oh, we'll do that one later. Well, you know, times went on. He's like, oh, I gotta go get that checked. I'm not really for sure how my heart's doing. Went in to get it checked, had those calf go up and everything, and they were like, oh, you're less than 50%. The doctor's like, that doesn't happen. It gets worse over time. He didn't change his eating habits. He didn't change his exercise habits. He's up in Michigan, right? I think they eat a lot of pizza, wings, and beer. That seems what his wife said his routine was. So nothing to change any outside of the diet or anything. But yet he had less than 50% blockage. And it went down almost 25%. And he only been patching 9 months. Like, how does that happen? Repair and regeneration. That's what his body needed it repaired. We also see huge changes in the brain. Anybody focused on their brain health? Cognitive health, memory. Anybody have family members that are dealing with cognitive decline? Dementia. Yeah, memory issues. Yeah, so that's serious. And it's becoming more and more prevalent. But we can see in just 6 weeks the improvements in the brain, looking at EEGs, looking at the brain mapping, and seeing the brain come in more into coherence. That means your brain's communicating correctly, right brain, left brain, balance. We can see that anxiety come down. Anybody with stress? I know those of you that were on the I-95 a minute ago. Beltway, is that what it's called, the Capitol Beltway? Those of you that were on that, there may have been some white knuckles, right? You need your brain like, oh, let's get that nervous system in check. We can see that to happen around that 6-week mark too. And the longer you use the patch, the more, like I said, the more benefits you gain. How many of you have been on the patch, been using the patch more than 30 days? Is anybody here more than 30 days? 60 days? 90 days? How long have you been using it, Rosemary?
90 days tomorrow.
90 days tomorrow. She is counting. Can you cross it off your list?
It's getting,
Yeah, you're getting some results already, right? What's happening with your
I
hands?
have eczema.
Yeah.
It is ugly, but I also take it beyond patch.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had less inflammation. And in the last I just came back from Savannah, but in the last 2 days, I've noticed less irritation. And my hands are, even though they're ugly, they're trying to get all one color. So when I go to one of my doctors, they think I'm crazy. I said, that's okay. I know something's happening.
Yeah, something's happening. So Eon is a patch that was the most popular, best-selling patch until David came out with the X39 4 years ago. Eon, like Rosemary said, reduces inflammation. Many different inflammatory markers in the body. And so when you reduce inflammation, what happens? You have a healthier state in your body, right? Inflammation is the root cause of disease. And so Eon works amazing with X39. How many of you use X39 and Eon? Several of you? At night?
I know that it works because I have a 6-number bed, so I patch while I sleep, and then patch without it, and with the patch on, mine is straight across ring, so it checks my heart, my breathing, so,
Nice.
and without it, it's like this, waking up,
So
I'm not in my realm, so.
Yeah, Eon is a patch that you can use daytime or nighttime, but a lot of people like to use it at night to shut the monkey mind off, so the body can get into that relaxed, rest, digest state at night. So that's a fantastic benefit if you have that kind of issue. Yeah.
My hair is gotten longer.
Hair's gotten longer. Yeah, hair growth is common. Has it started to change color? Have you noticed? Have you noticed yet?
Yeah.
You have? Yeah.
I've been doing it like 3 years.
3 years. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so far, before I go any farther and say anything else about it, what questions do you have about X39, the stem cell activation patch?
I have a whole bunch of questions. Predominantly, how do I know which ones to use for what and placement before I place them? And how do I know whether to use like just the X39, X39 plus the X49, X39, X49 plus the Eon, and what is like the biggest bang for your buck, because finances will be an issue for some people. Some people it won't be, some people it will be, and I want to make sure that, you know, most people's resources effectively and efficiently.
Okay, so let's start with the first one. How do I know what patch to start with? We always start with X39. This is the stem cell activation patch. So this is the mothership right here, right? This is your main one. So this is going to activate your stem cells. Your stem cells are going to go wherever your body needs in whatever order. So when she's talking about the other patches like the Eon or X49, or David has invented a dozen patches over the last 20 years. He started 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, working with the Navy SEALs. He was contracted by the U.S. Department of Defense. And so he was there inventing survival equipment, and they asked him to contribute to the problem the SEALs were having with energy and endurance and stamina. They were on amphetamines, uppers, caffeine, things like that. And so he was actually downloaded by God, by the divine, the idea to create a non-transdermal patch called, you can call it energy enhancer, that triggers beta oxidation, turns body fat into fuel, okay? So that went great for the SEALs, and then as you all know, we just celebrated 9/11, its anniversary. That happened 20 years ago, right? Over 20 years ago. And so the U.S. Department of Defense pulled out. David went to the Stanford University swim team. The coach was Richard Quick, and Richard Quick, of course, had 6-time U.S. Olympic. You guys know what I'm talking about? USA Olympics swim team. Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps has patched, yes, but Richard Quick was actually the coach. The coach. So anyway, David spent 2 years doing clinical studies with Richard Quick, with Stanford University, with the swim team there in the USA Olympics. Over the last 20 years, since he started LifeWave, next year's our 20th anniversary, he's invented a dozen patches. Okay? But again, we start with X39 because of what it does and its ability to do anything in your body. We always go second to Eon. Eon partners with X39. We call it the dynamic duo. Because Eon reduces inflammation, we all have inflammation in our body. We are bombarded by toxins, which are causing inflammatory responses in our body. You guys know that, right? Right? So, and if you've had surgeries, if you've had accidents or injuries, or even food and lifestyle choices contribute to inflammation in the body. So we want to keep that inflammation under control. Eon is always our second go-to. From there, the other patches, we have a patch summary sheet, and they're in the other room. So you'll be able to take one of those with you. They're going to be very specific on someone's needs, right? If you're saying, I want everything I can do to help eliminate XYZ problem, right? That XYZ problem issue is going to be different for each person. And so we're going to look at that sheet and we're going to say, well, based on this information here, I think that X39 and Eon would be fantastic for you, but if it was me, Rosemary, I'd be using Alavita too. Good. Alavita is what I would use next for the skin, because Alavita is absolutely a patch that targets a peptide, the epithelium peptide in your pineal gland, that is responsible for repairing the skin. It's responsible for reducing oxidative and inflammatory stress in the body. Now, how do I know these things? How do you know these things? Well, you educate yourself. Okay? So as a brand partner with this company, or as someone that's looking at this company, anyone can go to LifeWave Health on YouTube, and you can see all the videos David's done. You can also go to startx39now.com, and David has, if you scroll down to the bottom where he talks about the other patches, he has done a quick summary of every single patch. There's a quick video. They're all right there together.
Where's that?
startx39now.com. startx39now.com. And you can go there and you can see him doing a quick video of everyone. Now, if you go to LifeWave Health, you're going to find an hour-long video on each patch. He's pulling up clinical studies. He's telling you all the research. He's talking all about it. But on the StartX39 Now, he's given a brief summary of each patch. Okay? So you're going to educate yourself on those. Now, let me ask you this. If you are, is anybody here a doctor or medical professional practitioner? No. Okay, so we're not here, no one here is here to treat or cure or diagnose anyone of anything, right? We are sharing information with people. So we're going to share information with you to go home. You have the website to look at when you go home, so you can decide what's best for you, what your needs are, right? So we're not trying to say, oh my gosh, okay, here's all your diseases, here's all your issues, your medications. We're not going to go into full and on-take form and doing those types of things. We just want to share that information. So keep it simple. We don't want to try to say you have to have this, and this. You want to educate yourself? Absolutely. Use the Lifeway resources that we have to be able to educate yourself as you're helping people, right? You're learning. Okay? That's a great question though. Now, go ahead.
What about, like with vitamins, there's the whole like take it, you don't make it, or there's don't take things in isolates, like you don't take an isolated vitamin because it could cause an imbalance somewhere else. So if I'm stimulating certain stem cells, how do I know I'm not creating some sort of like imbalance within my body because I'm
So
causing
we're-
things to wake
right,
up
so-
that maybe needed something else to wake up with it.
Okay, so this is not a vitamin or supplement type technology. So that philosophy applies to that world. It does not apply to this. Okay? Totally different. You are taking an outside source, an exogenous source of a nutrient and putting it in the body, hoping that will help the body to digest, assimilate, and absorb and do what it needs to do to help improve something, correct? That's how that works, outside in. This is completely opposite. Your body knows how to balance itself, right? You were created perfect. Everything was balanced. Over the years of exposure to toxins and foods and stress wreaks havoc inside of your body. Things have gotten out of balance. So when you activate different peptides, that's your body's own innate ability to get itself back in balance. The body knows how to have those conversations inside. When that biochemical reaction that's happening from the biophotonic exchange of information that's taking place when you put the patch on, you don't need to worry about if it's doing what it needs to do or not doing what it's doing. The body knows how to heal itself. And it's the peptides that do that, those pathways that are signaled, the stem cells that are activated. They're pluripotent. They know where to go. They know what to turn into. So draw that line at vitamins, supplements, herbs, homeopathic remedies, because they act very differently than a wearable light technology that signals your body to do what it already did before.
And the latter part of this question is, how does this apply with children or young adults where their stem cells are still growing, but perhaps they have an illness?
That is unfortunately very common today. They have an abundance of stem
40%
cells,
of kids
but
have
yet,
illness now.
yeah, I know, because of the environment, because of the lack of food, nutrition in their
The
food,
food supply is
and
being
the
destroyed.
toxicity being pumped into their body at massive rates. And so their body's ability to repair itself is decreased at a very young age. And so we don't have any clinical studies on children for obvious reasons, right? You just don't. You don't study children, you don't study pregnant or nursing women. And so we can't say, oh, well, based on our studies with children, you know, XYZ has happened. Based on our experiences with you, 3 years, 2.5 years for me, you know, almost 20 years in the company, people have a choice to do whatever they want with their children. Some choose to go through the McDonald's and get the chicken nugget Happy Meal, and some don't, right? And so it's always a choice of the parent to do what they want with their child. Will the patch harm the child? It would harm you if it would harm your child. Because if you give your child the chicken nuggets McDonald's, is that going to be harmful for you? And you give it to them, it's going to be harmful for them, right? So is this harmful for you? It's not harmful for them. So it's going to help their body, and we find that kids bounce back a lot faster than adults. They don't have a lot of times the mental, emotional stress that we put on ourselves, right? They don't have that fear, the worry, the limitations, the restrictions that we do as adults, because they just haven't had that long of a lifetime to have that many issues going on, right? I'm not saying they're not kids that don't have mental stress. There are way too many children that have mental health issues right now. And again, that's a whole nother topic of discussion, but can the patches help them? We see it happen. The first 2 people I patched were my kids, right? The first 2 people, my daughter was nonverbal in a wheelchair for 15 years, required full care. She's the first person I put the patch on. So, I mean, have we patched pregnant women? Pregnant women patch all the time. Nursing women patch all the time. It's always a personal choice. So I'm not gonna say, if you're pregnant, go patch. It's like, like I'm not gonna say, you're pregnant, go eat McDonald's. No jabs on McDonald's, but I think we can all pick McDonald's as a jab, right? Food plant's down the plate for 22 years and it's still not rotted. Something's going on there. So that's a choice. And do we see it help kids? Absolutely. It helps them a lot of times a lot faster than it does adults, because their body's already still pretty high up on that process, right? But it's gotten out of balance, and so it self-corrects quickly. When I was in Michigan 2 weeks ago, Mom came up and shared that they've been using the patch on her son that was basically nonverbal. Sherry, did you guys hear him? Hear Sherry last week? Very, very little interaction, social interaction, communication. She had to change a diaper. 10 years old, 50 times a week, 50 diapers a week. Couldn't ride a bike. Coordination was horrible. Just not a interactive. He had issues since he was born. 4 months on the patch. Now he walks right up and he says, "Hi, have you heard about X39? This is what's helping me feel better." And he goes right into, now he's riding a bike, now he's interacting, he can do all these things. And like he's like this super outgoing social butterfly. No more diapers, none of that. He has friends at school now. So much has changed in his life from just 4 months of using the X39. It's huge, right? So what's she doing? Reaching out to all the special needs communities, all the moms and all the people she knows on social media in her area, right? She's saying, we've got to get these patches on our kids. We've got to give them this upper edge to get their body back in balance. We don't want them going through lifetimes of issues, mental issues, physical issues, emotional stress and trauma. Those are great questions, though.
I can keep going and try to be considerate this time.
Yes, ma'am. For what?
Autism.
Autism, same thing. That most people in our community, we know tons of people that know, most everyone knows someone that has a child on the spectrum.
And pets as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we see huge benefits.
So they can use X39 or which one?
They can use X39, they can use Eon. Carnosine is a fantastic patch for the brain. Carnosine balances the left brain, right brain hemisphere. It's the patch that got my daughter talking, verbal, saying words, new words, communicating, interacting with people, answering people on command. Carnosine was huge, huge for her brain. And we see that in it, no matter what the age is. Brain health, X39 Eon Carnosine. Glutathione is a great patch. X39 does elevate glutathione 30%. So I always start with them using the X39, the Eon, and add the Carnosine from there. Glutathione is something I introduce down the road because I want to make sure that glutathione is a master antioxidant. We have an abundance of it when we're a kid, but what happens with the toxins and things that come in, right, it just can't keep up. And so when you introduce glutathione, this elevates your body's own glutathione level. It's a big dog antioxidant. It's the biggest one ever, right? It chomps up free radicals, getting rid of neutralizing toxins in the body, which we need that. So let's start with this that elevates our own glutathione by 30%. That's why I said earlier it helps with the immune system, the digestive system, right? Your immune system's housed here. We know gut health is a buzzword now. Thank God. Finally, let's get that gut health and that gut-brain connection working.
So you mentioned pets, I'm a big pet person. Where do you?
Anywhere it'll stick, or if it won't stick, or if they won't allow it, you put it on their collar. Yeah.
So they have to touch their.
So remember the lady in the airplane next to me? We weren't touching, but I felt like she was sitting on me.
Oh, okay.
Because her heat was coming out, right? So same thing with you and with pets. Heat, light is emitted 2 to 4 inches off the body. And so if you put it on the collar, or if I stick this in my pocket, even with a back on it, it's still working because it's in my energy, heat, light field. And so when you put it on their collar, you can use a little Band-Aid to tape it on if it doesn't stick on their collar, or you can put it in their pet bed. If they sleep in a bed at night, yeah. Or if my dog, when I patched her the other week, when she had a little bump back leg, hip area, whatever, I just stuck it on the back of her butt, right there by her tail. She's a French bulldog, she can't get back there. She can't even really look at it, let alone like get back there to get to it. She tries to even do that, she falls right over on her back and her stomach's up in the air, right? But people, we love our pets. So we patch ourselves and we take our patch off and we put it on our pet. Great questions. What other questions do you guys have about this so far? Yes, sir.
You keep all the patches on for 12 hours?
Every every patch is 12-hour window. So if I'm gonna use, let's say, X39 during the day, 12 hours, I'm gonna take it, put it on, you brush your teeth in the morning, right? Brush our teeth?
Right.
Yes? Yes, okay, yes. We're brushing our teeth,
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
gonna put our patch on. Then at night, we brush our teeth, we're gonna take our patch off and throw it away. So your 12-hour window, maybe you go to bed later, I don't know, take it off.
I'm a night owl, but I put mine on like in the afternoon, like 12 or 1. I don't go to bed till 1 or 2, so I
Okay.
take it off, you know.
If that's your schedule, that's perfectly
I take
fine,
it
as
off.
long as it's 12 hours. But say, for example, if you patched X39 during the day, say you want to do Eon at night, then if you're gonna, let's say you get up at 7 a.m., put your Eon patch at 7 p.m. So you get that full 12 hours. And if you have your X39 on and your Eon on, you might need to set reminders on your phone. Take this one off, put this one on. I'm just someone that patches everything during the day. I throw it all straight down my belly button because I want to get to patch placement for you. I put it all straight down my belly button. That my belly button's this long. I just stack and put them all down below my belly button in a line. And I take them all off and then I throw an Alavita on at night. Now we do have instruction booklets that come with the patch, okay? And this instruction booklet, each one's going to be different, but it's going to give you suggested locations that you can patch. The reason why, remember me saying we've done over 90 clinical studies? David's done clinical studies with people. Doctors and labs all over the globe have done clinical studies with people. And so in a study, you have to have a controlled situation. The people have to do the same thing. We can't have somebody sticking it here, somebody sticking it here, somebody putting it on the back of the neck, somebody putting it on the arm, the hand, whatever. So they pick traditional Chinese acupuncture points. How many of you know what acupuncture is? Okay? So you're familiar. So there are certain points that do certain things, right? They impact different organs or different systems in the body. So they chose to pick these specific acupuncture points for the studies. So we could show statistical significance in the improvement of the functionality of the organs or the systems that were being tested in studies. So you can place them anywhere you want. Anywhere you put the patch is working. Your whole body is heat or light, correct? We've already established that. So if I want to put the patch on my shoulder, it's still working. If I want to put it on the back of my neck, it's still working, doing the same thing, elevating that GHKCU. Right? If I put that Eon below my belly button, it's going to activate that peptide that reduces my inflammation, the SOD. Okay? If I put it on the back of my neck, it's working. If I stick it in the center of my forehead, it's working. Do you want to put it on top of your toe? I don't care. Right now, I have an Eon over here on this foot, and I have an X39 over here on this foot. Why? Because these cute new shoes are cute, but they weren't cute anymore after 10 hours. So I put a patch on the inside of each foot. Now they're super cute again. They feel great. Stick the patch anywhere. It's working no matter what. Okay? Hey, I bought some cute new shoes, but they're only cute for so many hours. They're really comfortable to stand in with the patches now.
So you chose to put them on at the same time?
I
So
do.
we can do them different time. Like if I do, from like I said, X39, 12 to 12 at night, I can do it Eon at night to sleep with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You can patch whatever you want, but here's the thing. There are two patches that are nighttime only. Okay? That's Alavita and Silent Nights. Now, obviously you would know why Silent Nights is nighttime only, right? Silent Nights, you're out. Night-night. Alavita does elevate your melatonin some. You're all familiar with that. Fantastic. But it also works with this peptide I mentioned earlier in your pineal gland, which is great for your skin. But it's a peptide that needs to be activated at night while we're sleeping. It helps with cognitive function. It helps, like I said, reducing oxidative stress, organs, things like that. There's no women in here. You don't guys know any women menopausal, right? Nobody knows. Ding, 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 ding. Alavita at night helps with this. So you use those two at night. Now there are 3 patches that you must use during the day. X39, X49, and Energy Enhancer. Energy Enhancer gives you energy. We don't want that while we're sleeping. We want to go night-night, right? So those are your 3. The other patches can be daytime or nighttime. It's totally up to you.
I'm sorry, nighttime, Alavita, and
Silent Nights. What other questions do you have? Yes, ma'am?
Can you talk a little bit about the detoxing? I think what's going on with me, like he got immediate results. I know mine is going to be long. I can tell because it's chronic.
Yeah.
But from like month 2 into month 3, I was going agony.
I'm sticking with it, but now I'm starting to get to lose it. But I know it's something about detoxing. So can you speak on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are all different in detoxing, in the detox process, because we all have different toxins in our body. Correct? We've all been exposed to different things. We all have different mindsets and beliefs or fears or worries. And those things create a lot of toxicity in our body. So that's going to be different for every single person. And not every single person will experience detox symptoms. I didn't. My husband didn't. And my kids didn't. But we do detox quite a bit. We're on our detox game because toxins are huge when you look at the disease process. So when you're talking about I'm experiencing some detox symptoms, number one, water is important. Half your body weight in ounces every day is your goal to get to. Using some trace minerals or Celtic sea salt, a pinch or a tiny little kernel of Celtic sea salt on your tongue before you drink a glass of water to help bring the water into your tissues and cells. That will help move things through your body better, right? So making sure that you have electrolytes, not from Gatorade, but some type of electrolytes, trace minerals in your body is super important on a daily basis. Hydration is going to help you to flush out any toxins that are released. Like I said, X39 elevates your glutathione 30%. Most of you haven't been exposed to glutathione, have you? No. A lot of people just don't know about glutathione, or they don't, if they did, they didn't know what to do with it, how to take it, right? So just elevating your glutathione, that's your master antioxidant detoxer. And so that's going to help move things out. When you have an inflammatory process in the body, right, we want to help, that eon is pulling the inflammation out of your cells. The glutathiones help pulling out the toxicity out of your cells. Sometimes, some people, and again, not all, but some people do feel that. They can feel that pain in areas they have inflammation, where it can kind of hurt. Water is going to be your best friend, and those minerals are going to be your best friend. Right? Making sure your calcium, your magnesium, your potassium, your sodium ratios are correct. Glutathione right there, yeah. Okay, so glutathione is a patch that you put on, and you leave it on 12 hours, but you take it off, and it keeps that glutathione level elevated for a 24-hour period. How many days a week do you use glutathione?
2 to 3.
Okay, good. So 2 to 3 days a week.
Just started.
Yeah, just started, good. Because we, like I said, we always recommend you start with X39 and Eon. Give that some time, right, before you put on the big dog. Especially if you've got issues, health issues, you have toxins. That's just it. If you have anything on your list of symptoms, conditions, diseases, syndromes, you're looking at inflammation and toxicity. Those are your roots, right? Probably some parasites, let's be honest, right? We've got some parasites, we've got some heavy metals, right? Those are things that are just in our body, unfortunately. And we're not going to eliminate all of them. Mold toxicity is huge. So helping to pull those toxins out, it's going to take time. Sometimes it may be uncomfortable. Sometimes you may get a headache. Sometimes you may, oh, my stomach doesn't feel great today. Keep patching, keep hydrating, and know that here's like success, right, Fred? Success is not a straight climb, right? It's like this, woo! It's like driving on these roads today. We were weaving in and out, coming from Dulles, I don't know, I'm going this exit, that exit. I'm like, this is the path to success. This is the path to healing. Woo! Here I am. Pop, we're here. I could not get back to Dulles Airport if my life depended on it without a GPS. Thank God I've got my co-pilot Leah with me, because I'm not going to be able to get out. I'm like, Leah, where are we? She's like, I don't know. We're just following the map. We don't know where we're at. Thank God we've got a map, and you've got a map. Your map is patching and waters, right? Patching and water your minerals. You're going to get there.
I just got the
Good. The Celtic sea salt.
Where did you get it?
Amazon. Whole Foods.
Everybody's knowing. They don't have it at Whole Foods.
Wrong. Any place, they sell it everywhere.
Get it on Amazon then.
The only place I can find it is Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon has it. It's a big blue bag. It's so funny, my son, so he takes my YouTube videos, my Zooms that I do, I put on my YouTube, and I was talking to him on the phone today when we left our event earlier for lunch, and he said, Mom, he goes, you just got 2 bags of Celtic sea salt in the mail from Amazon. He goes, it's crazy, I just did one of your shorts for YouTube, and you were talking about Celtic sea well, you're in the flow, buddy. You're in the flow. Keep posting those shorts. Keep getting the word out there.
Their time was X39, X49, and energy.
Yeah. What other questions do you all have?
But for you, like for me, I think don't get overwhelmed at first. Just start out, and then you get educated. You start listening to her nightly. So you learn, and then you start adding. But don't try to do everything at first. Just do the X39, and then you know.
And take it, simplicity.
Yeah.
And just start
You'll learn.
Yeah.
I'm actually studying to be a regenerative health practitioner, so I kind of have to know because I have clients.
Yeah.
So I need to know specifically which ones to give to which.
Yeah, we'll have to have that conversation at a different time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're doing the glutathione, you guys were saying 2 to 3 days a week, and it's a heavier one.
So glutathione elevates your own glutathione over 300%. And that, when you wear that patch 12 hours, you take it off, throw it away, but yet your glutathione level is elevated for a 24-hour period. So it's not a patch you need every single day. Now, are there some of us that wear it every day? Yeah. But we, again, are also on our detox game, right? We've been doing this for a long time. So we're not detrimentally impacted at all as far as any detox symptoms, because this isn't our first rodeo, right? Leah's from Houston. Girl's been doing rodeo for 30 years, right? She gets involved, she's like, what detoxes? When do I do my parasite? When do we kill off those worms? What should I do? What are we doing, pH balance this week? Okay, let me get some chlorophyll, right? We're doing all kinds of stuff, because that's just what we do. But if it's not your world yet, you're just learning it, use your glutathione a couple times a week, you know, after you get started. So that would just the same thing. You're probably feeling a little bit more because your body's going, let's get this out, girl, let's get this out, right? And so, you know, trust your body, trust yourself. You know what feels good, and you may have to be okay with being uncomfortable a little bit. When I was in Michigan, there was Cindy and Casey, the couple I went up there for their teams. Her really good friend Dennis has been patching since earlier this year. Like, he's chronic, right? I love that you admit that. Like, not that it's a bad thing, but I'm saying, like, some people were like, I've had all this for 30 years and I expect it to be gone now. And you're like, look, I know it's chronic. It's going to take time, right? He's in the same situation. Well, he went through 4 rough months earlier this year. He'd been patching, things had gotten better, and then he went through some, like, right? And he came out on the other side, and he's like, man, he looks different. His before and after picture, they're like, what happened to you? Everything about you just changed, but he had to purge out a bunch of toxins. And it didn't feel so great all the time. But he stuck with it, because we kept telling him, just keep patching, Dennis. Keep patching. We promise it'll get better. Just keep staying hydrated. Lots of water, lots of water. And so when I'd only seen him on Zoom, of course, and when I saw him 2 weeks ago, I'm like, man, bud, you look 20 years younger. Like, you just took years off your life. And he said, I feel like it. I cannot believe how I feel. I almost gave up, because it just wasn't that comfortable. Right? Then what happens? He kept going, and then now he's like, whoa, whole new life. He actually, as the 2 chiropractors I interviewed the other night, husband, wife couple on Tuesday night, he's actually the ones that brought them in. Yeah.
What's so funny is having health issues isn't too comfortable.
No, it's not.
So what's going on?
I love that, Nancy. It's not. Having the issues, having the symptoms, having to deal with the pains or the complications or the medications or the doctor's appointments or the CT scans or the MRIs or the jab, taking your blood work, all this stuff, none of that's comfortable either. But, you know what? You're doing it. So now let's do it, and let's get our body back in balance, back on track.
My brother was supposed to come. She got a flat tire, so she said she can't make it, but she's a tennis coach. So she's coming to see how to incorporate this with her players. So I do believe it would be like for what you just explained to us, it's the X39, and then for her players, we would add the enhancer.
So here's some options. X39, 49. That's what my son, he's almost 19. That's what he started when he was 17. So he's a big athlete, basketball, weightlifter. He actually literally just sent a video before we started. He benched 330 for the first time. Like how much you bench? What are you benching here? Did you bench? You benched a lot, right? Kids. Fred, what about
We don't
you?
do the heavy
You know,
weights.
and you said something interesting, I haven't done bench press in over 20 years.
Right.
Because sooner or later, necks get tired, shoulders. The fact that you mentioned athletes are the most unhealthy group of people on the planet because they have overuse injuries again and again and again. They don't admit when they're hurt.
Yeah.
Because I'm a high school football coach. We play tomorrow.
Yeah.
I got 2-3 guys, coach, I can play. I think we got medical people who tell them they can't.
Yeah.
They will lie. I lie
Yeah.
when I play.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Yeah.
something like this is applicable. And let me say
Yes.
that. Athletes are the worst people. A runner just keeps running. A runner that's hurt, but he's winning he goes and runs. He hurts, he runs.
Yeah. Yeah, and so my son's using 39-49, so that he doesn't get hurt. They're big, right? Because they all know guys that have been injured, they watch the videos, they rip their pecs, they rip their biceps, and they're like this is disgusting to watch those body parts snap, right?
Like
So-
I said, coach has to speak for him, say no, son.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Even though, because athletes think they can do, oh yeah, I can do it. Especially they're young too.
Uh-huh.
And that adrenaline and that
Yeah.
hormone, oh yeah, I can do it. So like, for instance, coach said, no, son, you're not gonna play.
Yeah.
I know you can't play, but you think you can.
Yeah.
Just pushing yourself. So, but yeah. And I like Trish, I can't remember, I got over 600 pounds of weight in my face. I can't remember last time I bent anything. I got kettlebells and all that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, 20 years ago, I said, we something,
Uh-huh.
I just do kettlebell, a lot of reps and all that, I'm trying to get back into it, but
Good
yeah.
for you.
And glutathione, I'm just saying one thing, I've had taken a year ago and stuff to the point, everybody should get to that point where you incorporate it. And
Yeah.
there's nothing like, there's a master antioxidant, not most people don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's nothing more powerful, than glutathione, like your liver is detoxified, so that's what it uses to do the body.
Yeah.
Glutathione to detoxify your body. When that liver goes, life is over.
Yeah.
And so it uses plenty of the glutathione.
And it is that dirty
so-
trash can that tries to get rid of
Yeah,
everything
so
for
it
us.
uses it, so everybody at some point,
Yeah.
I've taken a few over supplements to get at that level. But
Mhm.
now with Audrey introducing myself, oh, you got glutathione, the pass? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna, get the supplement form like that. You stick it on, and you said, I was gonna ask you, you said 300%? Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, get to that point, okay?
I just want to say something about the energy cancer. Like I said, I just came back from Savannah. We were there for 4 days. My husband is 79, I'm 71. So I know we need to keep our energy up. So I patched us. And we could go all day.
Yes.
But last night, I took it off too late because we came back this morning and I couldn't get to sleep.
Of course. Set your timer on your phone.
Also, he has hip pain, so for the spine stuff, put it on his hip.
Mm-hmm.
While we walk, he has hip pain.
Yeah. Which one for his hip?
There's another one called ice.
Way.
So instead of taking a Motrin, you put patch.
Yeah. Yeah, but as far as athletes, X39-49 for sure. Energy enhancer is incredible for endurance and stamina, so if they need that. My son used to use it when he was playing basketball. He could go to the court the whole time, coach never had to take him out, or the other boys were winded after 2 minutes. So he did use that all the time when he was actually playing basketball. So that's something to definitely use during the game, during the match, or whatever that may be for tennis players. But carnosine is also fantastic for muscle building, muscle repair as well too. That's actually the patch that was promoted years ago for athletes was carnosine to help building muscle mass. But X49 does it different peptide, but it does help building muscle mass. Even if you're just doing a little bit of something here and there, going for walks or swims or something like that, we can see an increase in lean muscle mass in as little as 60 days from using the 39-49 combo. And it can go to your app. All this information's on the app. Been to your app yet? There's X39-49 presentations, videos, studies, all of that's on your app. Did you have a question, Audrey?
You had mentioned about glutathione. Other ways to get glutathione, they don't elevate it for an extended amount of time,
Right.
like our patch does.
Correct. So, like an exogenous source, like an IV push at the end of a vitamin drip, or a suppository, or a nasal spray, or a supplement that you take, it's going to elevate your glutathione about 20 to 23%. It's going to give you that glutathione in your body. It has a 7-minute half-life. So that means it's going to go completely gone within an hour or so. And so that's why you have to use it again. Use it again, 2, 3, multiple, 4 times a day. And so, or take large, huge, high doses. But again, you're going to have to use it more often. It just doesn't last. So our patch will elevate your glutathione over 300%. We can see this from blood tests, that your glutathione level is elevated. When you take the patch off, the patch has a patented technology that allows that glutathione level to actually be sustained for a 24-hour period. So then that means that big antioxidant is in your body chomping up free radicals for 24 hours, which is super powerful when you look at your immune system. And we all know what's happened in the last 3 years. Now everyone is aware they have an immune system, and they're very aware how important it is, because the underlying issue was either a strong or weak immune system, right? You're strong, you're good to go. If it's compromised, you're not. We had a man last night, Jim, shared that he has had plaque psoriasis for 35 years. No, since he was 35 years old, and he's 71. Since he was 35 years old, and he's done everything under the sun. It's just gotten so bad that he couldn't even lay down in bed on his backside. We really wanted before pictures, but he doesn't have any. He said he didn't take any of those on his backside, but he couldn't lay down in bed. It hurt so bad, the psoriasis. And he went to the doctor, and they wanted to put him on steroids. Well, huge immune suppressants. And he said, I know we're coming into the winter. I know what's been going on around here, and my immune system has got to stay up. I am not taking the medicine. There has to be another way. 5 days into using just the X39 alone, and he's 90% better. He's 5 weeks into using X39 now, and he was just like, I cannot believe. He hasn't even incorporated Eon or Alavita yet. And he's like, he sat on the couch last night all night long, right? That's crazy. But that's not crazy in our world, because the body wants to heal itself. And this patch gives the body the ability to start that process. And the longer you do it, the more benefits you're going to get.
Have this something to say. This isn't for everybody. I've been exposing people to it for a while. But if you maintain your car, why wouldn't you maintain your body? So that's what people have to understand. If you're getting oil changes and things, what is the maintenance you're doing, considering our food is horrible, the air is horrible, what are you doing to maintain? Like she said, the body wants to repair itself, but it's been bombarded by life. So you have to do something to maintain. That's how I look at it.
Exactly. Same thing, I say it all the time. Oil change. Oil change. Right? We should be doing something. Get our oil changed.
Share what biomarkers you've had tested and just what your personal.
Yeah, so for me, I wasn't a one-patch wonder person. I've always been extremely healthy. All the things I ran my daughter through the last 15 years, I've done myself. And so it wasn't that I had any things on my list to check off. I did notice about 3 weeks in, my workouts improved. I had worked out at a place called Orange Theory. You guys familiar with those? Down in Florida. And so I started running circles around people. Like, I'm getting through things faster. I looked down at the treadmill and I had ran 4 miles at 7 miles an hour. Didn't even realize it. It was like, oh, how is this happening? Like, my endurance and my speed and everything in my workouts changed. Then I noticed processing time in my brain sped up. I've always been a reader, researcher, devour information, share information, but that went, like sometimes when I'm talking, especially if I get going on a Zoom, people are like, slow down. But you don't understand, this is slow for me. My brain is going so fast from the patches. So that I noticed around that 3 to 4 week mark too. I always kind of joke, my first PhD took me a year, my second one took me 4 months. The first one I didn't have patches, the second one I did.
A year? Are you being serious?
Mm-hmm.
You did your PhD in 1 year?
Yeah, my first one. Yeah. But I had lived that PhD for 15 years with my daughter. Every class that I had to take, every test that I had to take, I'd lived that with her. I'd done all those things. So it was a no-brainer for me just to zip in there, which sounds kind of crazy, but I've lived it. I've been on the tables. I've been in the trenches with the therapists doing things with stuff, all over the world. The second one, functional med, that's been my world for 15 years as well too, but it was a totally different kind of coursework. I didn't take tests, I actually wrote tests for grad students and stuff, so completely different kind of program.
How do you develop the two worlds, the functional medicine and
patches, because functional medicine use a lot of different things, and patches just seem very simple.
So functional medicine says we want to get to the root of the problem. This gets to the root of the problem. Functional medicine looks at your environment, your toxic level, your toxicity. It looks at your food, it looks at your sleep, it looks at your exercise, your meditation, prayer, breath work, your community connection, interactions. It looks at the core principles of what a healthy, functional person should be doing. So does this. This absolutely works perfectly in functional medicine. It works perfectly in integrative medicine, right? I've always been very focused on integrating different types of modalities, of therapies, of treatments, acupuncture, massage, Reiki, chiropractic, Feldenkrais, craniosacral therapy, stem cell therapies, hyperbaric oxygen, all kinds of stuff, essential oils, herbs, homeopathic remedies, Bach remedies. I've always incorporated, that's integrative medicine. All those things. Well, this is a tool that you can integrate with any of those things. It's accessible, right? It's affordable. It works in conjunction with anything. There are no interactions or no contraindications. You know, if you're on a Bach remedy, you better be careful if you're on a medication. You know what those are, right? Homeopathic remedies, herbs, you have to watch. I don't have to watch anything. This is the simplest, easiest thing on the planet. And what I've seen in my 20 years of holistic health.
I think you're looking at it too complicated, because I think it's the third day after conception, your stem cells come into play. So it is what you are. So it is God's ability for the body to become anything. Your stem cells can be your hair, your heart, your toenails, whatever. So it is part of the core of who we are as humans, your stem cells. So once you get that concept, it integrates with everything. This is why they had the blood for babies. This is why mothers get better when they're pregnant. The babies are giving them good stem cells. So
Yeah, that placenta's a two-way street. That placenta, that cord is a two-way street. Did you? Good for you.
yeah, so you're
Yeah.
thinking about it too.
I kept trying, but I didn't know what to do with it.
Did you put it in a cryo facility? Did you not bank it?
No, because I couldn't get any information on what to do. I didn't have a midwife, I didn't have a home birth. I did let it pulse, took my time. I did everything opposite of what they do there, I did at home. But then after I cut it, I didn't know what to do with it. And I didn't know who to ask what to do with it.
Google. Now we have Google.
Yes.
I don't know that I
I had God back then. God said,
But when I
this.
Google searched it, the craziest things came up back then.
Yeah.
People were eating it. They were like having placenta parties. They did everything from like painting to like, I just buried it under a tree and it was like, tree of life.
There you go.
But yeah.
Well, like she said, you know, your body's made up of stem cells, amino acids, and you got the fibroblast growth factor. I won't get too much into that, but those are the things that make your body up. So you're growing, developing in the mother's womb, you know, the stem cells, the fibroblast growth factor, not the rest of it. Stem cells create this body, amino acids, all that working together to create you, I see as a baby. And then, you know, placenta, you know, when you throw that placenta away, it has abundance of stem cells in it. And there's, you know, it's just thrown away. And so what you were saying what people were doing, but yeah, it's all been stem cells all in the placenta, because that's kept you to grow and develop. Yeah, so, like I said, don't make it complicated. It's who we are, what we are. We don't develop with our stem cells and amino acids.
Oh, I'm not trying to complicate things.
Yeah,
I
we
just
don't.
learned.
Yeah, no, that's good.
No, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
no, I'm trying to get you to understand
Yeah.
it's simple.
It's simple,
So you
it's real
can
simple.
tell other people it's
It's
simple.
real simple.
Put it on, it reflects your body's light back into your body, activate your own stem cells, your body goes to work to repair and regenerate whatever's needed. In whatever order, we can't pick that order. But we know the longer you patch, the more benefits you're going to gain. If you want your benefits a little faster, like some of us do, right? Gloria up here, she's like, give it to me all now. I can tell what you're saying. She's like, give me a supportive patch, give me that Eon, give me that Alavita, give me another one, right? Then you can use those supportive patches to help your process.
I just have one more question. like, to see your progress with a quick marker be when you get your discipline to see what your blood work is?
Yeah, and I was gonna go back to what Nancy
Okay.
said, absolutely, thank you, Rosemary, for bringing us back to that. So, I had my blood work done from my naturopathic doctor when I was about 6 months into the patching. Now, remember, I'm healthy, I got all the things going on, right, doing all the stuff. And so, at age 47, my biomarker showed that I was in my early 30s. The lady thought I was getting my blood work tested to see if I thought I was menopausal. I'm like, I don't think I'm menopausal. We know I'm not menopausal. I'm not menopausal. And so it was early 30s. I'm like, this is great, right? I'm younger than what I am, but I'm probably already was anyways. So I had my blood work done a few months ago, and shows that I'm now, 2.5 years later, patching in my mid-20s. So I take my blood work to my acupuncture chiropractor doctor because I want to see what he has to say about it, right? He's like, good Lord, look at your kidney function. Your thyroid is like, woo, Speedy Gonzales, like you were rocking and rolling here. Everything looks amazing. I'm like, thanks, just keep doing your click, 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 click down the spine, right? That's what I'm paying you for, all that good stuff. But that for me is really important when I look at prevention and vitality and longevity, is that my blood work is showing that I'm almost half my age. I'll be 49 on Saturday. So that's really important to be that half your age on the inside. I'm all about the outside too. Give me that Alavita every night. That Alavita cream, day cream, night cream. I'll put that stuff on the back of my hands. Put it on this area right here, right? Shows the aging.
And once you finish, but I'll just piggyback on
No, go ahead.
Can you share which, when you look at your panel, your blood panel, can you share which markers or just overall? What do you
So
actually
it's not
do?
like a CBC and a CMP. Your doctor needs to pull, and every lab and doctor is different, okay? So they need to pull, you can ask for biomarkers, like I'm looking at my systems in my body, like my endocrine system, right? My cardiovascular system. I'm looking at my organ function, like what are my kidneys doing? What is my pancreas doing, right? My blood sugar, what my A1C, right? Tell me what's happening in my body with all organs and all systems. It's about a 7-page printout. So it's not like, take a vial of blood, let's look at my white blood cell count. We're gonna look at your white blood cell count, your red blood cell count, your platelets, but that's not a biomarker indication, right? So you wanna ask for a more detailed, and I can't tell you what doctor. I personally, my last one that I did, I actually went to lifeforce.com. I'm sure you guys heard Tony Robbins spoke Lifeforce a couple years ago. Did you hear?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I tell everybody here, I've been into health and wellness over 40 years. I read that book, and you're not going to read over 700 pages. Get it on Audible.
Yeah.
Only one credit. Trust me. I'm telling you. If you hear Tony Robbins' story, he created Life Force and Fountain Life. I tell you, if anybody want to understand your health and where we are now with regenerative medicine, which is stem cells a part of that, I'm telling you, when you read that book or listen to it, your whole life will change. We're so advanced now, and most people don't know about it. I listen to that book. I'm telling everybody, go to Audible and get it and listen to it. It will change your whole life. We can easily live to be 100, 200 years of age. Trust me. But that book changed his life. And when I read that, and you know who Tony Robbins is, his whole life, his mission is to change people's life, regenerate, restore, extend your life. And I'm telling you, Life Force is there, Fountain Life. It's nothing like it. So like
I
you
totally
said,
agree.
listen to her.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I mean, I've obviously listened to Tony Robbins. I'm sure you have for years, right?
Ain't no joke.
But coming into that health sector, which he's always been in that. If you've been to any of his events, the Sunday day is always on health. He always has the latest, greatest people up there talking about different things with health. But he does now have a service, lifeforce.com. You can actually click there, pick a date. The lady shows up at your house, draws your blood in 10 minutes. She's out the door. It goes to the lab. 2 weeks later, you get a report in your email, in your inbox.
No,
Yes.
no question about it.
So we get to bypass the
The
medical
whole
system?
medical system.
Oh, yeah,
And you
yeah.
actually meet with one of their doctors on Zoom that goes over it with you and talks to you about it and makes recommendations based on what they see.
It's not that
Because
expensive either, kid. Nothing.
I think it was like
$300 something dollars?
Yeah, $300
And then Fountain Life is the other company Tony Robbins owns. That there, you can get a consultant, get your consultation. They get on, meet with you, and y'all talk for 30 minutes, and they get a bit about your history, and then they'll tell you exactly which one of the different things you can for you can a la carte, if you do the whole thing,
Yeah.
it's $10,000, but no, it's all, no.
It is.
But
If you
for
go to
sure-
the Fountain Life Center, it is. I actually had my daughter an appointment there.
Yeah. See, you down in Florida, see?
Yeah.
I talked to down in Florida, my consultant, and it's free, just join up, lifecourse.com, the Fountain Life, and like I said, just go.
Yeah,
to
he's
the site.
posted in emails and updates, but
And you
yeah.
get all the description, they email you, keep you updated.
Yeah, the book's amazing, the information. Lifeforce.com. Yeah. So I'm gonna bring Leah up here. Leah, come up here.
Okay.
Leah's my partner in crime for this trip. We've been great friends the last 2.5 years.
And we're good, roommates.
We are great roommates. I told you I went to that first event with Laura. I took my friend Laura. And 2 weeks later, I jump on a plane and fly out to California. Don't know Leah. And I'm like, hey, let's go. David's doing an event in California. You want to go with me? Yep, I'm in. So here we are, roommate buddies. 2 weeks into not even know her. So we've been traveling.
2.5 years.
Traveling all over. But I want you guys to know that Leah and I work very closely together. She and Laura and I, we're in text thread, so we're like all day long. So when we talk about being here to help you and to support you and to be able to provide the information that you need or want, this girl is right there. And I want her to share just quickly about your story with leaving corporate America and what. Then I want to talk about what you do on Zooms and virtual patching parties and traveling and events. I want you to share that with them just for a few minutes, because I want you guys to understand the support that you have in this area. You know, she lives in Houston, and I live in Florida. Laura lives in Florida, but we're here to support you 24/7 through Zooms, text messages, emails, right, phone conversations. And I know Carolyn and Kimberly and Nancy know that. They've been on this journey with us for quite some time. So share with them your story of being in corporate America and getting started with Life.
I would love to. So, has anyone ever asked God or your higher purpose what your purpose is?
Yes.
You have? I sat in church for a long time, wanting to know what was it. There had to be more than going to work, paying the bills, tithing, volunteering, all those things that I do. But don't make it too difficult. So I've been praying. And all of a sudden, Lifeway pops into my lap. 27 months ago, because of Laura, our mutual friend, she called me and said, you need to look at this. I said, okay. She said, I'm not going to do this without you. And so I did some research. I listened to videos, everything they said to do, I listened to everything. And the first thing that hit me was, if I had had this technology 2 years earlier, my dad would still be here. I watched him suffer for the last probably 2 years of his life. Dialysis, just terrible needs. And that was all right when COVID started hitting. So the last memory for me was with him at dialysis. And so when that hit me, and I've always been passionate about health and fitness, that's, I've always taken care of myself. I came into this healthy, but for me, this was my insurance policy. I tell people that's my insurance policy. To continue to be healthy. Right? I want to take care. I don't have children. I've helped take care of my grandmother who lived to be 105. And you guys, I thought 50 was middle-aged until I joined Lifeway. And they say, no, it's 35. I'm like, okay. Well, now it makes sense. Things started breaking down at 40. And when I understood what it was, I was working in a job, corporate America. I've been in it 30 years, interior design and architecture. I would come in and design all the things, all the finishes in new projects. And I was teaching architects about glass, and it just became so much stress. Sunday nights, I'd make myself sick, thinking, oh my God, did I call enough architects? Do I have enough appointments? Because Monday morning, we had to be up on a call at 7 a.m. And mine was coming out of rowing, jump in the car, and I'm on my call. And so, started sharing this technology, and it comes from the heart when you truly understand what this is. And 4 months in, I woke up and I thought, I cannot populate this spreadsheet with 100 clients and 19 lines. It just was too much for me. And so that morning, I called my boss. I said, I'd like to talk with you and your wife after the call. And so we did, and I jumped off that boat. And was it scary? Oh my God, I was so scared. But I had great leadership that guided me every step of the way. And here I am today, free of my time, financially free for the first time in 58 years. I can say I don't live paycheck to paycheck. So it's been an incredible opportunity. And then who doesn't want, and I tell people too, you guys, God wants us to be in relationships, and He wants us to help people. And we have this simple technology to offer that to people on so many different levels. So it's been an incredible journey. We will continue to do these events. This is my third one with my team in Virginia. I come and usually spend 4 to 5, 6 days with them. And we do these events back to back. And that's what's been on my vision board. I want to travel. I have teams, I think, in 5 countries right now. And my goal is to go fly, take Dr. Staci, take Laura, and go do events for our teams, right? Because we all want to be, all the ships will rise together. And we love it. We love helping people. We want to help people live the best quality of life. It's been an incredible journey.
And Leah, I want you to real quick share with them, because Leah, we all know people, right? We all have our friends and our family members that we think about and we care about, right? But Leah has built her business doing events, as in put up a table at a little farmer's market or a holistic fair, craft fair, something like that. So share that with them as well, because you came from corporate America where you had to do events.
I did. I came from doing events, but we were talking with builders and glass contractors and how exciting